well, we got a lot of work to do to keep making the kind of progress that we need to, prepare for Mississippi State, who's a very good team and, a top 20 team, and do a lot of different things. The way they run the ball on offense with all the quarterback runs, very similar to Tebow a couple years ago. And defensively, they do a lot of blitzing, very aggressive style. Really a tough preparation for our team, and our players have been pretty focused on what they need to do to try to do it. But we need to continue to work and finish the week between now and then so that we can get the kind of execution we need to be successful in the game. From an injury standpoint, Trent did some running today, did some work today. If he's not, better tomorrow, then I don't know that he'll be ready to play in a game. But we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Chris Jordan probably not able to do quite as much and may be very questionable for this game. And, DJ's doing everything. So it's just a matter of him getting enough practice and repetitions to get back to where he can play, and I think he's very close to getting, ready to play. I think that one of the things that I emphasize with the team that I'd like to emphasize with everybody in the organization, now's a time when everybody needs to have a positive attitude, positive thoughts about who you want to be, what you can accomplish individually and collectively as a team, and, focus on those things. Be the best player that you can be. What do you need to do that? And put all your positive energy and attitude in what you want to try to accomplish individually and collectively. And I think that we've had outstanding positive energy from our fans, and the support has been great in Bryant-Denny Stadium. I think it contributes to the success that we've had, in our stadium. And I think probably no time in a long time is it probably more critical that we have, that kind of enthusiasm and that kind of energy for our team, in this particular game. I know it's Veterans Day tomorrow. I'm sure that we all know and appreciate all that our veterans have done to, preserve our freedom and help keep our country to be all that it is. And we certainly appreciate that more than they know. And I'd like to let them know that our organization and everybody in it, including myself, really appreciate all that the veterans have done for our country. We're honoring veterans at the game. There's 13 former Alabama players who served in World War I who are going to be here, and I think that's fantastic. We're going to wear something on the uniform, relative to that. So I think it's a great tribute to all the people who have, served our country in the past. Questions?
What's the key to stopping the zone option read? Can you give us a little football?
Well, they do a lot more than that. I think everybody runs, just about everybody we played runs some form of the zone option read. But, this offense is way beyond that. They run, gap blocking plays, which is power, quarterback T-fold, fake a guy going this way and run the quarterback power back the other way, fake a speed sweep going one way and run the quarterback power, right where the guy thinks the speed sweep is going. So, the read zone to me is just about discipline of players, the read zone part of it. Everybody zone blocks, everybody squeezes and closes. Somebody has the quarterback, and that guy has to be disciplined because he's riding that ball to that back, and the tendency is to go chase the back, and the quarterback pulls the ball, and then all of a sudden you don't have anybody on the quarterback, and they have enough blockers to block everyone else. So that part of the offense, which is where all this spread started several years ago, has evolved now into what amounts to be, when I played Pop Warner football, we called it the single wing. And when I was 10 years old, our offense was a single wing. Now, nobody runs that offense anymore, but you snap the ball back 4 or 5 yards deep to what was called the tailback. The fullback was next to him. The quarterback actually played up more like a guard, which is what I played. and got to block all the time. Very seldom got the ball unless it was a spinner play where they handed it to you and you faked it and gave it to somebody else. And I guess that's why you got to be the quarterback. But this stuff is really more like that. I mean, it's more like that kind of offense, direct snap the ball to a tailback, but now that guy is a quarterback who can also throw the ball. And the other element of it is they've got guys spread all over the field, so everybody's got to cover down on somebody, so it leaves a lot less players in the box. So it is difficult, and when you have a running quarterback, especially a guy that is big and strong like Mississippi State has and like Auburn has and like Tebow was, that can actually run the ball multiple times and make it difficult for the defensive players trying to defend them just to get them on the ground and tackle them and not give them positive plays. It really is effective and difficult to stop because you can't put that many guys in the box because somebody got to cover these other guys. So that's the difficulty of it.
What does it mean to be scraping a linebacker?
Well, you know, anytime they gap block, people block, you do what I call gap replace. So if a guy blocks down, you close, somebody's going to pull and block you, so you try to spill the ball and gap replace. So then the linebacker tries to scrape over the top, so he's actually gap replacing. You're squeezing his gap, he's taking yours. So, you know, sometimes when you angle and slant, which most people don't do a lot of, you know, in this day and time, you call it a scrape linebacker when a guy slants and the backer's supposed to scrape. We do some of that, but again, zone blocking, it's not really very effective.
Coach, if Trent Richardson is unable to go Saturday, what kind of role might Eddie Lacy and some of the other depth at running back play along with Mark?
Well, you know, we played several games without Mark, and, you know, Trent did a good job, and Eddie Lacy did a pretty good job, and, you know, we also have Good, and but we are a little beat up, you know, there. If Trent can't go, Mark is in good shape, and Mark's doing fine, and Mark will do a great job for us in the game. I thought he did a really good job in the last game. But he'll probably end up playing a little bit more, but we think Eddie's very capable, and, you know, so they'll have a role.
Coach, just to follow up on Don's questions about the option, how are you replicating that in scout team this week, and who's
well,
running
it's
the
really
quarterback
difficult, you know, but we have at least Blake Sims did some of that in high school. So, you know, Phillip does the passing part of it, and Blake does the quarterback run part of it for the most part. He did some of it in high school. He understands the offense a little bit, but with all the formations and all the multiples and the motions and creating pitch mins and speed sweeps, it's really difficult not only to get a look and a picture at the plays, but also the speed, you know, on the perimeter that some of these plays present. So, but we have some guys that do a really good job for us, and I think they've done a pretty good job of trying to give us a picture this week.
Coach, you talked about how important it is to have a positive attitude, your players and the fans. I wonder if you'd comment on one of your players. Preston Dial said this. He said, you know, it's tough and it's frustrating to not have success in that game, but I don't see it as a failure. I have a lot of pride. I love the respect that we have for each other. I wouldn't replace one of our players with anyone else.
Well, I think that's pretty well said and shows what kind of person Preston Dial is, what kind of leadership qualities that he has, and the maturity that he has. And, you know, he is a senior, and I think we need more people having that kind of attitude so that they aren't affected by things. I think ability to overcome adversity is probably one of the critical factors in being a good competitor. And when things don't go well, that's when people have to be their best. And I think, you know, now's the time for a lot of us to be our best. And I think the best way to be your best is to be positive about what you want to do, stay focused on the goal that you have, and practice that every day so that you can master your position, become a better player, and if everybody does that, then we'll have more success, as a team, as an offense, as a defense, on special teams. And I think it's important to keep a positive attitude.
Coach, what kind of improvements are you hoping to see from the offensive line this week, and were there any communication issues Saturday at LSU?
Well, we were late off the ball some. I think that's been a little bit of an issue with us when we play on the road. We were late off the ball. They're a quick defense. That probably put us at a disadvantage a few times. I don't think we had a lack of communication. We probably had some because I guess, you have to have someone communicate. Then you have to have somebody receive the communication. Like, when somebody calls you on the phone, somebody on the other end needs to say hello. So it's got to go two ways. So we had the communication. We missed some of the calls. So if that's lack of communication because we didn't block the right guys at times, when you play against good defensive people and you don't get a hat on the hat, you're not going to have much success. And when you don't do things correctly, that's when you get exposed when you play against good teams. Same thing on defense. We give up 3 or 4 really big plays in the game because we didn't do the little things right and end up making mental errors that, leave people open that really shouldn't be open. And it starts with the pass rush and how you push the pocket and how you play your technique, whether it's zone or man. So it's not just the offensive line; it's the entire team. And same thing in pass protection. So we all need to do a better job, and we're all responsible for that as coaches to be better teachers, so that the players can play better. And that's what our focus has been this week.